Nearly 12 years after 69% of Washington, D.C. residents voted to allow medical marijuana in the district.
Who's next?
The City Council just passed the initiative into law this May. Alan St. Pierre, Executive Director of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, has worked on marijuana issues in D.C. since 1991.
Now we're caught up in this bureaucratic malaise where by January 2011, technically speaking, people should be able to get their recommendations, and entrepreneurs, if they can comply with the law, should be able to start dispensaries. And here, in the shadow of the Congress, there will be medical marijuana dispensaries.
One district resident who is waiting for the city to begin accepting license applications for dispensary operations is Rabbi Jeffrey Kahn. He and his wife Stephanie hope to open Tacoma Wellness Center as one of the 5 D.C.-based medical marijuana dispensaries.
We've researched a lot about what's happening in California, in Colorado, and other places as well, and looked at all of it as a model in a sense, and tried to see what works and what doesn't work.
It's so hard.
One of the dispensaries Kahn visited is Harborside Health Center in Oakland, California. Steve D'Angelo, who grew up in Washington, D.C., opened Harborside in 2006. It has since become the largest legal medical marijuana dispensary in the world.
Have you had either one of these?
Yeah, I've had both of them. I felt like the island has a little bit maybe more sativa feel to it, where the Matanuska maybe a little bit more indica, so it was a little more of that laid back feel.
Yeah.
Well, as presently conceived, the system in Washington will be very different from the system that we have here in California. In California, patients are allowed to grow their own medicine, and any excess which they grow beyond what they need for their own purposes, they're allowed to bring into a collective such as Harborside and give us that medicine to redistribute to the vast majority of patients who are unable to grow their own medicine.
Yeah, there's like 1 3/4, so we can prorate too if you want.
It really looks like you did it really fast, you know what I mean?
In Washington, patients are being prohibited from growing their own medicine. What that's going to do is 2 things. Number one, it's going to reduce the selection of medicine that is available to patients. And number 2, it's going to reduce the amount of medicine which is available.
In Humboldt County, California, the Humboldt Growers Association provides marijuana to dispensaries like Harborside. Cannabis from Humboldt is hailed by many as some of the best there is.
They've got, really strong, good plants. They're breeding their own plants, and they've had them for years. And so they're acclimated, and they do very, very well. And the best part is, they're huge. They are huge.
This is a white widow crossed with a light blue Xenu. The light blue Xenu is an old Humboldt County
strain. See, I don't know light blue Xenu.
You get something that's built for Humboldt.
That sure is.
The growers here have perfected their techniques after decades. They grow some of the largest plants in the world. Some of the gardens we've looked at today have 10-pound plants in them. They'll produce a lot of medicine. It's partially due to the climate, partially due to the genetics, the strains that have been bred in this community, and the skill of these farmers who are the top of their field.
Instead of plants growing on family farms and lush fields, DC's medical marijuana will likely be grown in licensed industrialized cultivation centers in the city. Though Rabbi Kahn says he realizes medical marijuana laws in the district will be more restrictive than they are in California and other parts of the country, he is optimistic that they can be successful.
But I think it's good that we're getting a chance to start with whatever rules and regulations they want to give us, and we're looking forward to being able to comply.
Weed, grass, ganja, joint, doobie, do, chronic, ace, lobo, loco, love boat, bud, Buddha, blunt, pot, pat, pin, chiba, 420, and hashish, or hash for short.
I think it should be totally legal, 100%. My gosh, it's, a natural plant. What can you say?
Users are prone to unpredictable behavior, including junk food binges, joyride, and a sudden urge to wear sunglasses at night.
Marijuana should be made legal now!
My name is Gerald with Yes on 19, which is the initiative to control and tax cannabis in California. What Prop 19 will do will stop making it a crime for adults over 21 to possess a small amount of cannabis.
The most selfish and personal reasons, as often is the case in a civil rights, social justice movement, is that I am ill affected by the law. I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to pee in a bottle to get a job. I don't want to have my home taken away because I may or may not have a few plants in the backyard. I don't want to lose custody of my children because I choose to use marijuana. I don't want to lose my driver's license or security clearances or be denied ability to serve in the military just because I made a fairly rational decision to use something that was actually safer than alcohol.
Would you be interested in canvassing with us?
They're promoting this as a moral issue, and it is a moral issue.
And don't forget to vote yes on Proposition 19.
Well, alone, if you look at the benefits and the tax of the sales of medical cannabis, now annually we're seeing over $100 million turned into the State Board of Equalization just in sales tax. So this is something that if you look at it, it has to be regulated. It has to be brought above board for California to get its fair share out of an economy that's always been here.
Joey Berger of the Humboldt Growers Association in Humboldt County, California, argues that marijuana is not just an important part of his local tax base, but that it is a vital part of Humboldt's economy.
Cannabis has been important to Humboldt County for over 4 decades. It had replaced the timber and fishing industries here that dried up. It's the only sustainable industry we have here at this point. We'd like to see it thrive in coming legalization. We'd like Humboldt County to be the Napa of cannabis. We'd like to see tourism. We'd like to see a thriving industry here.
Bud after bud, there's easily a pound in here.
You know, the media would have you believe it's a bunch of drug dealers and cartels up here. It's not like that at all. It's mom and pop farmers, people who are raising their kids around this. They don't raise them to think this is a bad thing. They're putting food on their table. They're sending their kids to college. And they've built a real strong community here, centered around good values, trusting your neighbors, helping your community. It's a very good community, and it's all thanks to these cannabis dollars.
That's a level of sophistication in the marketplace.
It was the first
it really
time
is.
that there was and it paved the way for what we're seeing now with Kush, you know.
California passed a law allowing medical marijuana in 1996, creating a legal industry for dispensaries and marijuana cultivators across the state. With the potential passage of Proposition 19, people who prosper in that industry grapple with how they will adapt to a changing marketplace.
Just like small vineyards produce the best wine, that's what we're going to have to do. That's how we adapt, that's how we thrive in this new environment.
Some of Proposition 19's most vocal opposition has come from law enforcement. Police officers say that marijuana legalization will likely result in a rise in crime and public safety issues.
We're against it. We see nothing but issues with it. We disagree with the fact that they think it's going to increase our tax base. It may do so, but it do so in such a minimal effect. I don't think it's worth the headaches. And we're just trying to do our best to add a public safety environment. And now with legalization of marijuana, we see a potential for crime rising.